Good morning. This is the October 11th meeting of the Educational Professional Standards Board's Waiver Committee. I'm joined this morning by fellow committee member Kathy Gunn. We have 12 waivers to review and formulate a recommendation to present to the full board, starting with Waiver A, presented by Crystal Horde.
Thank you. Waiver A is requested by Bell County Schools on behalf of two teachers. This is a waiver request of 16 KAR 2010, extending the grade range of a middle school teacher certificate from grades 5 through 9 down to grade 4 in the teacher's same content area. This is a similar waiver to what they have requested in past years. Due to the flexibilities that were approved by the board during the 2020-2021 school year, Bell County Schools did not need to request this waiver last year. However, they do have two teachers, Sarah Napier and Tina Tipton, who will need this waiver to be able to teach fourth grade in their content area based on the configuration of their schools in Bell County.
Okay. Kathy, do you have any questions for Crystal?
I do not.
Okay. Do you have a motion?
I make a motion that we approve the waiver as requested.
Okay. And I will second the motion. Any other discussion? All right, hearing none. If you approve waiver A, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no, and no abstentions. All right, waiver B.
Waiver B, you're going to hear a few of these. This is a waiver of 16 KAR 2120 to allow for a subsequent emergency certification for teachers who have already had at least two emergency certifications in the past. The waiver action that the board took at the summer's meeting allowed teachers who have previously held one emergency certificate to receive a second one for the 2021-22 school year. However, these next few waivers are people who have already had two who did not qualify for this blanket waiver. In this case, Scott County Schools is requesting a waiver for Miss Amanda Covert for the area of secondary math. She is already certified in middle school math and English and has held two prior emergency certifications.
Any questions, Kathy?
No.
All right, then I need a motion.
I make a motion that we approve the waiver as requested so that she can extend her certification through high school again.
All right, I will second the motion. Any further discussion? All right, if you approve the motion, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, and the motion carries. Waiver C.
Waiver C is also a waiver of 16 KAR 2120. This one is requested by Woodford County Schools for a retired teacher, Miss Martha Day, who holds a lifetime certification in agriculture. She, as well as instructional leadership and vocational supervision, for the past 2 years, she has been emergency certified in the area of special education, serving as their home hospital teacher. Due to the shortage of special ed teachers, Woodford County Schools is requesting a third emergency certificate in the area of LBD special education.
Any questions, Kathy?
No questions, and I make a motion that we extend her certification as well.
All right, I second the motion. Any further discussion? All right, hearing none. If you approve waiver C, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. All right, and the motion carries. Waiver D.
Waiver D is also a waiver of 16 KAR 2120. Johnson County Schools requests this waiver for an additional emergency certification for Mr. Corey Johnson. He has been a special ed, or has been hired as a special ed teacher in the area of moderate and severe disabilities for the current school year. The district was faced with with a vacancy when a teacher resigned the position who was certified. They resigned unexpectedly. He also has had 2 prior emergency certificates, and the district is requesting a 3rd.
Any questions?
No, I make a motion that we extend the certification for waiver D.
All right, I approve the motion. Any further discussion? All right, if you approve the waiver D, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. All right, waiver E.
And this is our final waiver of this reg, 16 KAR 2120. Gallatin County Schools is requesting an additional emergency certificate for Sarah Strilka in the area of middle school science. She had held 2 prior emergencies or emergency certificates prior to the requirement changing, limiting the number of emergencies that an individual could hold. And due to a vacancy and a long-term illness of the district's science teacher, they are requesting a 3rd emergency for her for the current school year.
Any questions? All right.
I make a motion that we also approve waiver E and extend the certification.
Okay. I second the motion. Any further discussion? All right, if you approve waiver E, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. All right, waiver F.
Okay. This waiver is is requested by Owensboro Independent School District for Miss Caitlin Rhodes. This is a waiver of the requirement that requires out-of-state prepared educators to hold the equivalent certification in their state or jurisdiction where their preparation program was completed. Miss Rhodes completed her program in the state of Indiana. However, she's not passed the Indiana test yet to require the equivalent certification in that state. She has taken and passed all of Kentucky's testing requirements in the area of certification that she is eligible to receive. She has been already employed on an emergency certificate for 1 year in Owensboro Independent, and the district states that she's done a fantastic job, and they want her to be able to receive the full professional certificate.
Okay. Any questions?
Yes, I just want to clarify. She took all of her classwork in Indiana, but then she passed the praxis necessary in Kentucky. So technically she's done everything just in 2 different jurisdictions.
Yes, she 4030 has a requirement that says that the individual must possess the equivalent certification from the state or jurisdiction where they completed their program. She has completed all program requirements, and we have a recommendation for program completion from her institution in Indiana. She has taken the Indiana test. She just has not passed the Indiana test. Then once we received the recommendation from her university, she also took Kentucky's equivalent test, what we require for that same certification area, and she's passed ours.
Okay, so I recommend that we approve the waiver.
I second the motion. Any further discussion? If you approve the waiver F, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. All right, the motion carries. Waiver G.
Waiver G is the same regulation, 16 KAR 4030. This one is requested by Miss Emily Hackman. She has been hired as a speech language pathologist at Boone County Schools for the current school year. She recently completed her her communication disorder certification program at University of Cincinnati. However, she's a Kentucky resident and she's been employed in the state of Kentucky. Since she was not living or working in the state of Ohio, she did not pursue certification in the state of Ohio. However, she does qualify to receive it if she did test in that state. She did pursue her professional license through the Kentucky Speech Pathology and Audiology Board with Kentucky, and has also taken the praxis test in her certification area for Kentucky and has passed those. So she is also requesting to waive the requirement to possess the Ohio equivalent certificate.
Any questions, Kathy?
I have no questions, and
Okay, I second the motion. So if you approve waiver G, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, no. All right, the motion carries. Waiver H.
Waiver H, ditto here. Miss Catherine Walker is requesting a waiver of 4030. She also has been hired in Boone County Schools. She's also a recent program graduate from University of Cincinnati. She's a Kentucky resident. She was seeking employment in Kentucky. Although she qualifies to apply for the certification in Ohio if she were to take their test, she did not do so because she was seeking employment here. She has received her professional board license from the Kentucky Speech Pathology and Audiology Board, and she's also taken Kentucky's praxis test for the communications disorder certification.
Any questions?
No, but I make a motion we approve waiver H.
All right, I second the motion. Any discussion? If you approve waiver H, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. All right, the motion carries. Waiver I.
Waiver I is a waiver request of 16 KAR 6010. Which is the testing regulation. Western Kentucky University is requesting a waiver on behalf of Miss Brittany Kane. She had completed a dual certification bachelor's program back in 2014 for the areas of middle school English and social studies. She had passed the PLT requirement and her middle school social studies content requirement. However, she had not passed the middle school English test. And at that time, Western did require their candidates to pass all tests in dual cert programs before they would recommend for certification. Since they no longer have that policy, they do recommend their candidates for one area, even if they have only tested and passed in one. However, during this time, some of her test scores, one or more of her test scores that she passed in 2014 have since expired. So they are requesting a waiver of the test recency requirement so she can be certified in the area that she passed.
Any questions, Kathy?
No, I recommend that we motion that we approve waiver I.
Okay, I second the motion. Any discussion? If you approve waiver I, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. All right, the motion carries. Waiver J.
Waiver J is also a waiver request of 6010. It is requested by Western Kentucky University on behalf of Miss Catherine Gray. She completed a master's in communication disorders in 2013 when Western was still approved for the teacher certification program in this area. Ms. Gray had taken and passed all of the tests required for certification. However, she did not apply for the EPSB issued teaching certificate for communication disorders, but instead just applied for her state board occupational license and had been working in that capacity. Now that she is working in a school district, she's trying to obtain the certificate, and Western or the certificate issued by our office. And Western is requesting that her test scores be recognized because they're still less than 10 years old.
Any questions?
Okay. No. I make a motion that we approve Waiver J.
All right, I second the motion. Any discussion? If you approve Waiver J, signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. And the motion carries. Waiver K, Kathy, I will need to recuse myself from this waiver, but I will share the recommendation with the board. Crystal?
Okay, Waiver K is requested by, I believe the districts submitted the waiver request for this one, or she did, I'm sorry. So Miss Contessa Vick, this is also a waiver of 6010. She is a graduate of Eastern Kentucky University in the master's program for communication disorders. At the time that she graduated, she had only taken and passed the speech language pathology content exam, but not the core knowledge and applications exam. She did apply for her Kentucky Board of Speech Path occupational certificate, as well as her ASHA certificate, and began working in the clinical setting for the following 5 years. She just recently took the core knowledge and applications test and passed it. However, she was informed that her other score was beyond 5 years old and expired in April 2021. So she is requesting that the board waive the test recency of that previous past score.
Any questions?
I have no questions, and I recommend that we approve Waiver K.
All right. And if you approve Waiver K, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Suppose no. All right. And the motion carries. Waiver L.
Okay, Waiver L is a waiver request of 8020, actually 8020 and 8010 for rank 1 and rank 2 for Miss Whitney Coe. This regulation, it was initiated by the school district. She's currently enrolled at, no, this one was, this one, I'm sorry, I'm like getting there's too many waivers, I'm getting my waivers mixed up. She is currently enrolled at Northern Kentucky University in the Option 6 program for moderate and severe certification. She previously had completed a master's degree in mental health counseling from Lindsey Wilson College, and the district has requested that we review and consider her for rank 2 and rank 1, and Ms. Coe has provided documentation of her master's in mental health counseling and how it is directly related and relevant to education of exceptional children, and she's requesting that the board approve her for rank 2 and rank 1 with her corresponding MSD certification.
Any questions?
My only question is, she would have the 60 hours between the two degrees?
Yeah, well, her master's I'm scrolling down to the degree. Her master's in human, that's her bachelor's degree. The master's in counseling and human development with a concentration in mental health counseling. That program itself is 60 graduate hours. So when she finishes her Option 6 program, she will be exceeding 60 hours.
I totally support a motion to approve this.
All right. I second the motion. Any discussion? If you approve Waiver I, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no.
Are we on I or L?
Oh, sorry. L, sorry.
Thank you.
I looked at it wrong. Okay. So if you approve Waiver L, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, no. All right. The motion carries. Hearing no further discussion, at this time, the Waiver Committee meeting is adjourned.